I was like scrolling through Instagram to just see like what news and stuff was kind of trending, and Snoop Dogg on the slopes again, but this time snowboarding with Shaun White.
Oh my gosh. I
And
that's one thing, like I have not been seeing enough Snoop
uh,
content because I think like we just whenever we're watching, it's just on Peacock or like YouTube. I don't even know what else turns on because he's in charge of the remote. I guess it's YouTube TV. So
yeah,
whatever he's turning on, it's not the Snoop coverage. And
I don't think he's been doing a lot of like coverage stuff. It's more like he's there, social media, behind the scenes.
it's
But
not
I did,
nearly as much as I wanted.
yeah, I want him more audio wise. The coverage of him like throughout the ceremony and stuff was fun, but I want him to have a much larger speaking role, if you will. Like I
I
don't want him to
want
just be
like,
the extra.
you know, who's
While you're looking this up, when he was snowboarding, they had him do a jump. And in my head, my dad goes, he even did a jump. And I was like, what? I didn't see that. And he sent me the like a little YouTube clip. And truly, he's standing there and Shaun White tells him to just jump. And he goes about like this far off the ground. I thought he went off a jump when with what my so it's like that was a funny, oh, this is the jump. Like very different thing that
oh,
I was thinking
uh-huh.
and had in mind. And
It's
like
like when you're like going down and you're like, I got some air, and it's like 2 inches off.
yeah, one of my friends, Allie, is doing like winter in Salt Lake. She posted a funny video. It was like, I had my boyfriend film me because I was feeling like spicy on the slopes. And she like even does like a look back, like, did you see that? Did you get that one?
Got
It's like,
it.
I'm guilty.
No, I want my Snoop coverage to be like, you know how Morgan Freeman does voiceovers of documentary films?
Yeah, like
That's what
Jason
I want.
Attenborough.
Yes, like David,
David.
Sir David Attenborough.
Why does my brain like that is a unique skill of mine, is just coming up with the wrong name always.
I don't think that you're the only one.
No, but I do it so confidently.
Oh my gosh, no. My coworker Laura, she makes you question your
What you
sanity
think.
because she's like, so yeah, you're not the only one. But yeah,
Snoop.
no, exactly. Like that's what I want. I think I would do me even more Olympic content if it was only narrated by Snoop.
I
The one thing that I have seen little bits of, Scarlett Johansson, her husband, what's his name?
Colin Jost.
Yeah, like
Jost.
I
How do I
think that
say it?
he's been like he did was it the bobsled that he went on? And like
Yeah.
that was hilarious.
Yeah. Him and Jason Kelce did the bobsled separately.
Oh my
And
gosh.
like the same exact experience, both were scared shitless. Like they were
Yeah.
like, that was the most terrifying thing I've ever done. And like I thought my body was gonna split in half, like the amount of G force on my body, like my hips are bruised. I think I like couldn't scream loud enough like halfway through because it was like it was the pressure was like forced the breath out of me. Yeah, it was hilarious. Like I think I forget which one I saw first, but it was like the same exact. I think it looks fun, and now I'm very much questioning
But then
if
when you saw them going down, you're like, "Oh shit, like that does not look fun." Like the
no, yeah,
professionals make it look fun because like they're like tight and
versus like
controlled and whatever and
in
like yeah, like
your
they're
head.
like like are they going to be okay or did they just
I
go
know.
through a major car accident?
Like my dad when my dad and I were talking, it was like we wanted Snoop to bobsled, and absolutely not. Keep
No.
that man safe and
He's too
secure.
he's too
He is
fragile.
very fragile.
He'd
Did
like fly like
he's too long and lanky.
those things aren't made for tall skinny.
Welcome back to She's the Fan.
If you enjoy this episode and all of our episodes, do us a favor and subscribe or follow wherever you're listening.
And of course, if you want more sports content, make sure to follow at Your Sports BFF on both Instagram and TikTok. And you can sign up for our BFF brief. It's our daily text message that keeps you in the know on all things sports, especially right now with all of the Olympics. The link is below in our show notes. So we have some other headlines to go through Olympic wise, but the biggest thing we're going to talk through today is hockey, because we are officially in the tournament for both men's and women's. US women play for the gold tomorrow against Canada, and the drama on the men's side is insane. I was writing our episode and was like, am I going to have to delete this whole thing? Like halfway through the day, I was like, great. But yeah, so lots of hockey, even a little breakdown cheat sheet for all the new fans as well. So let's get into it.
Hit me with the headlines.
Okay, first off, Lindsey Vonn. The story is never ending. This gal is back in the US. She's had 3, if not 4 surgeries already on her leg. She's not done. She said she's gonna like do, it wasn't just, it clearly is not just a break. Like I know my fair share of injuries, but like this is, I'm very eager to know and understand like what all happened. But she posted today that her dog passed away. Like while pretty much like when she was racing and crashed, he also went down, and he'd been struggling with cancer, and they made the hard decision to like, yeah, decide that it was time. And while she was in Italy, oh my God, I can't imagine. I just saw that. It's so like, how heartbreaking. Yeah. On top of everything.
Yeah.
So
that's very
sad news. Starting with the bad stuff today. Yeah. Other bad news. The WNBA CBA negotiation stuff is continuing. And I would say, like, if I have a hot take, this is it. We'll get there in a second. The Players Association put through a new proposal, and the WNBA pretty much responded saying that it's not attainable. And I was trying to look up and find what the proposal was. I saw something about it and I forgot to save it, and I couldn't find it again. But the league is essentially saying it's not attainable. And from what we've heard, I feel like there's kind of like, you get little bits of information each time. And they met last in person after like a few weeks. There's a lot of like commentary from some of the players that are part of the association kind of throughout, like Unrivaled's happening. And so in interviews, some people will kind of drop opinions periodically. And one of the players mentioned that it felt like half of the ownership was on their side and like wants to put money in and develop this league and pay the players and like really, really build this like ecosystem. Phoenix is one. Las Vegas, I think, is in there in the mix. The New York Liberty. There's some of these teams that like are building women's specific training centers. They're investing in their facilities. And then there's like the other half of the ownership group that's like stingy and kind of just wants to make their own money. And I don't even really know the best way to describe it, but like they're not really wanting to like put more in and invest more. And that's, I think, where part of the big divide is if the WNBA were to commit to what the players want, they're going to be in the red. And so what needs to happen is the investment from the owners needs to collectively like level up significantly. Yep. And then it becomes a sustainable business plan, right? And my hot take is, I don't think right now it would be very difficult for said owners that aren't willing to want to invest in this future to go out and find minority investors that do. Like, this is one of the premier women's sports leagues that is setting a precedent and like has the biggest potential to succeed. And I think there would be a multitude of ex-athletes, ex-players, business people, you name it, that would want to partake in this, especially if it meant moving the league forward in this way. And I think that the fans and like the ecosystem for each team needs to put that pressure on the owners. And the WNBA needs to like make a stand to put that on the owners too. If I was the WNBA, I would be like, we want to do this. Here's the problem. We need money. I would be trying to side with the players and pushing it on the ownership and making them the enemy versus the league taking on like the enemy role, if you will. I think there's probably a lot more to it, but it sounds like if half of the ownership group are on the right side, it seems like maybe that's like the big piece missing. it's getting dicey. We're getting into strike territory, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe that it's still going on.
So we will see what happens. But yeah, hot take, I think the owners are the problem. And if you're a big time investor listening to this, go buy some teams. Do help us out. We won't. And also maybe like
Investors could
we
be
won't
you.
truly. NBA All-Star was a success. It was the most watched All-Star weekend in a long time. USA versus World. And the young guns, the young guys ended up winning.
That was your
Um,
pick.
yeah, I there's a few of those guys that I feel like care. And someone said LeBron is the downfall of the All-Star game because Kobe and like Jordan hated to lose. Like they wouldn't necessarily go out playing their hardest, but if they would make sure that they won.
Mm.
Whereas now that they're no longer around, LeBron like hasn't necessarily held out that same level of fire during these games. Very much a also hot take. Otherwise, Olympic highlights, I'm trying to remember everything that's happened. It's crazy. Kayla Schifrin finally got her medal again. She had an 8-year Olympic drought. She failed to place in the giant slalom earlier in the games and then ended up winning today. Kind of similar to Michaela Eileen Gu. She won silver in slope style free skier. She won silver in big air, which big air is like her worst event. I don't
Mm.
like using the term worst because she's not bad at it.
Right,
But
yeah.
she like during the regular season, competing in big airs was too much with like studies and everything else she has going on. So she generally forgoes it. But it's the Olympics, and why the heck
Why
not?
not?
So she qualified. She kind of thought like, let me try, and she qualified and ended up getting silver, which made her the most decorated female free skier ever. She still has half pipe to go, which is her best event, but she made headlines because a reporter asked her essentially, do you think of these as 2 silver medals gained or 2 gold medals lost? And she responded with, I'm the most decorated female free skier in history. I think that's an answer in and of itself. Winning a medal at the Olympics is a life-changing experience for every athlete. Doing it 5 times is exponentially harder because every medal is equally hard for me, but everybody else's expectations rise. So the 2 medals lost situation, to be quite frank with you, is kind of a ridiculous perspective to take. I just like the audacity of this man. I get it.
See, like I guess it's like the Olympic version of asking like, is the glass half full or half empty? And
Yeah,
she has a half full perspective, you know?
I think
Like that's it is a shitty question. Like he shouldn't have
it's a
asked
shitty
it.
question.
Like, you know.
I I think most athletes, like, yes, a gold medal is amazing, but most of these athletes, especially the ones that are like expected to perform, are thrilled to just medal. Like
Yeah.
they understand more than anyone else how difficult it is to even be up there. And I think when you're expected to be up there, it's so easy for us to say, "Oh, you do it all the time. Why wouldn't you do it now?" But there's just so much that goes into it, and there's something to say like about the Olympics and like the underdog. Like there's just so much more to it than any other event that I think world standings and history kind of go out the window a lot. It just was so like weird the way it went down. So I
Yeah.
liked your answer. Elena Myers took gold in monobob. That was another big one. She's also the oldest to win a gold at the at the games. I think just in general, like to win a
Hmm.
gold in an individual sport, and that was pretty cool. I think the other U.S. woman, Callie Humphreys, I think is her name.
Yeah. She's
She
the one
got
who just had a kid.
Yeah, she got bronze, but that was fun to watch. And then the other one, Jordan Stoltz, he's 21. He's a speed skater. He's phenomenal. He had 2 Olympic records in his last 2 events and like soared past everyone to win. But those are my within the last week. I feel like I'm forgetting so many, but those are some of the highlights. And then hockey. Hockey has been wild. So the men's tournament, we'll start with the men's. The men's tournament, we had the play-in tournament essentially yesterday and then quarterfinals. Figured we'd break down why the hockey games are so big this year and like why they're so important. And then also a little bit of preview because we very much like a US Canada gold medal match is predicted, although after today, who knows? I keep saying like it is the Olympics, anything can happen, but we'll jump into that in a minute. So this Olympics is the first time that the NHL players have been allowed back at the Olympics since 2014. So 12 years, which is what 3 Olympics games have passed without players.
Yep.
Most of these active players in the NHL, this is their first Olympic games outside of Sidney Crosby. There's a few others, but like Sidney Crosby won gold in 2010 and 2014. Both times he scored the defining goal for Team Canada. And like he's an icon in so many ways for Team Canada. The USA hasn't won a gold medal at the Olympics since 1980. I didn't know that till today.
I didn't know that either. I didn't
Yeah.
know it'd been so long.
I
That's the Miracle on Ice?
That is the Miracle on Ice story. So 46 years ago, the men, like essentially like the U.S. college team, won against they played Finland in
The
the
final.
championship in the final.
Yeah.
They beat the Soviets in the semifinals. That was the big story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we have not won gold since. Canada is more of the dominant Olympic storyline. So
wow, I don't think that I knew that. That's crazy.
And so then with the NHL era, this team is probably the most talented American team that we've had in the like NHL era. And so this is really seen as like the biggest opportunity the US have had to win another medal. And it's not about like I'm not going to say that, and I'm just going to skip that part. It's a dumb thought. Okay, so yeah, you have the US, you have Canada. Every team left in this tournament is stacked because the NHL players are in the games. So it's not like USA men's basketball where it's really like majority of the NBA players are on this team. The NHL has players from Finland and Sweden and Canada and like all over the place, right? And so a lot of these teams,
like the Red Wings, for example, like Dylan Larkin is playing for US, Lucas Raymond is playing for Sweden, and Moritz Seider is playing for Germany. So like that's just one team.
Yeah.
NHL team is spread across all sorts of different countries.
Exactly. And the US and Canada are heavily stacked with some of like the top talent, but a lot of the stars are spread across all teams. And so really like these teams are very capable of winning. And hockey can be a 1-0 score. Like it's not a basketball game. Like it can be a battle where a goal slips through and that decides it, especially in the knockout style tournament that the games are. Like it's one and done game. So a lot of drama. Like you have 2 powerhouse teams, you have the NHL back in, you have teams going for the gold, USA that haven't had it in over 40 years, and really anything can happen. Where we're at right now is the semifinals. So quarterfinals were today, and like holy hell, I have no better expression than like what the hell. We had 3 overtimes, and in Olympic overtime, how it works is it's, if you were watching all 3, you already know, but if you weren't, it's 3-on-3. So it's a first goal wins, sudden death overtime, 10-minute periods, and it just keeps going until someone scores. But it's 3-on-3, which usually makes for a quicker scoring game because there's a lot more space and movement happening, and it's harder to essentially block goals and whatnot. So 3 overtimes, including Canada versus Czechia. They won 4-3 in overtime. And then USA survived overtime against Sweden, winning 2-1. Quinn Hughes scored the go-ahead goal in overtime. But the big news was Sidney Crosby left in the second period with a lower body injury and did not return and is reportedly getting an MRI. So his status is unclear for future games.
Interesting.
So pretty much you have 4 teams left. The USA will take on Finland Friday. Canada will take on Slovakia later in the day. It is anyone's game to win at this point. Mm-hmm. I think both the USA and Canada with those overtime wins show that there is a door open to beat them. So it's nuts. If you're not watching hockey, now's the time. I've been saying that since we started. Okay. Give us the breakdown on Team USA.
Team USA. Well, so you mentioned Quinn Hughes. So how about we start there with the Hughes brothers? You've got Quinn Hughes. He's a Norris Trophy winner, one of the best offensive defensemen in the world. He runs a blue line, and just like controls a game. And then you've got Jack Hughes. He's a center in the NHL, and when he's on the ice, it's chaos. He's a very creative player, and one of those players where like every shift feels like something could happen. He's making plays, making things happen. So they haven't actually been teammates in a meaningful tournament since World Junior back in 2019. Quinn missed the Four Nations event last year. He had an injury. So this is their first Olympic moment together. So that's cool in and of itself. But then their mom, they have a cool mom too. So Ellen Weinberg Hughes, she's also currently in Milan, and she's working with the U.S. women's team in a player development role. So she played for Team USA in the early 90s and won a world championship silver in 1982.
All have a shot at taking home. Like, she'll win a gold medal if the U.S. women win.
Like, if the women's,
yeah. Like,
so,
she'll take home a gold medal. It's crazy.
Yeah, and like, you're a mom who played for the national team. Decades later, you're coaching at the Olympics, and both of your sons are playing in the same Olympics. So, and all 3 are wearing red, white, and blue. So, I don't know. It seems really cool. So, and I think I saw something like Jack said something like the best part of getting to be here with Quinn and getting to share their first Olympics with their mom too. So like, just like being there and it being a family affair. So,
I mean, that family as a whole have Luke Hughes, who's the youngest, who did not make the Olympic team, but in the future probably will. Just an impressive family all around.
Yeah. And then also, while we're talking about brothers, you also have Brady and Matthew. How do you say their last name? Backcheck?
Yeah.
So they don't have a full family affair with their mother being there as well, but 2 sets of brothers on the USA team. So
their dad played hockey.
Really?
Yeah. So they also kind of have
in the Olympics?
I think so.
Wow. So in addition to the brothers, the 2 sets of brothers, the 4 brothers on the team, we also have Connor Hellebuyck. And he's the best goalie in the world, ? Knock on wood.
I mean, he is incredible.
Yeah. So time will tell if he is the best goalie in the world, but we'll find out this weekend. But he's surely making a name for himself at the games this year. In a 1-game gold medal final, like, he could be the one thing that matters. So he's a reigning NHL MVP, a three-time Zena Trophy winner, Mazina Zena. And he's one of the most dominant goaltenders of this era, period.
Yeah.
And in this tournament, he's just been locked in, completely unbothered, like is, like I said, making a name for himself. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
He
he's already made a name for himself, but he's on the
he
world platform now.
yeah, he's definitely the guy you want on your side. Like if I feel like you walk onto the ice with a little more confidence knowing that he's in goal.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and then his teammate, Austin Matthews, I think said it, and he just said he just has fun when he's out on the ice. He's steady, he never looks panicked, and like the guys on the ice with him just have a lot of faith in him.
yeah,
So that's what you
he's really
want.
like
That's what you want in goal. Like you
he
can't be
is
doubting your goaltender.
no, and he really is like one of the best, if not the best.
Yeah, that's what I have on our boy Connor.
So the US team is very much the most talented American team in the NHL era, but this Canada team is potentially like the greatest team of all time. They are so incredibly stacked, and yes, all of these teams have the NHL players. They have the potential to compete, but just like the level of talent on Team Canada is incredible. You have Connor McDavid, who like one of the best skaters known. You have Sidney Crosby, who's essentially like elite. He's won golds. He knows how to score. He's like the guy that these guys looked up to growing up. And then you have Macklin Celebrini, who is 19 years old and is the closest thing we will probably see to Wayne Gretzky in modern era. He can score like no one other than Wayne Gretzky. He has scored in every single debut that he's had, including like he scored in his NHL debut. He scored in his college debut with Boston. He scored in his World Juniors debut. He scored for whatever the IHF or whatever league is. I forget what they're called. He's scored in every single debut. He scored in the Olympics. He scored the first goal of Team Canada's thing. It's crazy. Having Crosby, McDavid, and Celebrini, it's like you have the past, present, and future all on one team. I saw someone equate it to if you had Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Wemby all on the same team. That's what this would be like. And we're used to having like a really elite basketball team in the Olympics. Like the US men's basketball team is very dominant. But having Jordan and Kobe and then this like amazing up and coming young star what has never been seen before. And that's truly what this is like. And that's why this team is so insane. But the big question mark now is Crosby left the quarterfinal today or yesterday with a lower half injury. You never know in hockey. This is like a weird thing about hockey. They don't have to disclose injury. Like you know pretty quickly in most other sports if it's an Achilles or an MCL or whatever it is, they just have to disclose upper body or lower body.
That's so
and I think that
interesting.
remains the same for Olympics. He's getting an MRI. Status remains unknown. Would definitely put a damper on play. He does have that experience that he brings on ice, which I think in games like this, like is a big deal because no one else really has that experience. I think no one on Team USA has been to the Olympics. So it definitely can matter. So truly a stacked team. I'm hoping we get a USA versus Canada matchup. I think the world minus Finland and Slovakia probably want that.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
it
you called a USA Canada matchup in men's and women's from
oh
the
yeah.
from the beginning. So
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be a bummer. Like we got the Four Nations, the taste of it. Give us the full who can do it best for 3 periods. It's going to be a good one. The championship game will be Sunday at 8:10 a.m. Eastern, I believe, 8 a.m. Eastern. So West Coast people, set the alarm. Men's hockey, though, is very much not the only story. Women's hockey has been just as incredible, if not some of like the better stories so far. We're just getting into like the crazy games for the men's. But the US women will play Canada tomorrow. So if you're listening to this Thursday, the 19th today at 1:10 p.m. Hopefully you're listening to this in the morning and you can go watch the game later on. If you're listening to this after the matchup, well, this is a fun little preview of what happened. This is, I mean, like two of the biggest rivalries in hockey, right? Canada versus US. These two countries have played in every women's Olympic gold medal game but one since it debuted in 1998, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
It's so much, like, it's truly so much more than a rivalry. But this year, USA comes in with 5 straight shutouts, a 31-1 goal differential, and easily one of the most dominant tournament runs in like the history of any sport in
That's
the
been
Olympics. Like,
crazy.
it's impressive. USA played Canada in the preliminary round, so it operates a little bit different than the men's, and they ended up beating them 5-0 the first time around. So they already played in the Olympics. They shut them out. It was the first time ever in 28 years of Olympic women's hockey that Canada has been shut out in a game, which is crazy.
Yeah.
The Canadian team won gold in 2022. They hold kind of like the all-time edge of like all of the previous gold medal games, 6 total gold medal games. But in recent era, the US has beaten Canada 7 straight times in a row across rivalry series, worlds, and then most recently in the preliminaries at the Olympics. So the US is dominating right now, and this is going to be one of the biggest moments, I think, of the games. And even though the US, I think I said the US is dominating right now, but this is the Olympics. It's also USA versus Canada. Like, rivalry games are always different. And if we've learned anything from this Olympics, truly anything is possible. So I wouldn't count Team Canada out for this as a comeback.
Yeah. You never
Um,
know. But I mean, yeah, the way that US has been playing, and like I think I saw something like they haven't like every game that they've won, it's been by like a minimum of 5 points or something insane
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
5. I think all of the games have
At like
been
at least
5-0.
5 points, if
I
not
think
more.
the
Like,
first game was 6-1 maybe, and then every
yeah,
other game's been 5-0. Like, it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
They are so dominant.
Should we get into the US stories?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with our girl Hilary Knight because this is it. This is
I know.
her fifth Olympic, or 5, and she already announced that she is retiring from international play after this. So
Yeah.
whatever happens in this gold medal game, this is the last time that we're ever going to see her play for Team USA at the Olympics, which is kind of huge. Like, that's a big deal. Like,
It's huge.
it's
She's
huge. So she's tied for the US record for Olympic career goals at 14. And if they medal tomorrow, that would be her 5th Olympic medal and would also make her the most decorated US hockey player in Olympic history. So what's wild is that she's not just the star anymore. She's like the infrastructure of US hockey, like
yeah.
she's the culture, she's the reason that the program looks the way it does. Like, she's it when it comes to the US women's hockey team.
And I
Um,
would also say like women's hockey in general, like the
yeah,
PWHL, like she's the big deal.
yeah. So one of her teammates literally said women's hockey is where it's at because of her, because of Hilary Knight. So, and then it's not just about scoring, like it's about, she's been a huge activist with equal pay, better resources for women's hockey, for the PWHL to even exist. And she's like really helped to push the sport forward across the board. So she came into the sport as like a young scorer and is like truly leaving as like captain of an era, which I think is really cool and really cool for her. So, and then on top of all of this, she's just like living a movie life because
Truly.
the day before the gold medal game, she proposed to Brittany Bowe in the Olympic Village, and which is so cute. So Brittany Bowe she's a speed skater, right?
Yep.
Um, so the caption that I saw was the Olympics brought us together. This one made us forever. So just so cute.
Sweet.
Like you're going into the gold medal game engaged. Like
Yeah.
my next story of note is Kendall Coyne Schofield, who also like an emotional center of the whole team. So this is her fourth Olympics, the first time as a mom. So when she announced that she was pregnant in 2023, people were like, congrats on a great career,
Yeah.
like have a baby, you're done. Like as if, motherhood, oh, bye, Charlie, as if motherhood means retirement.
Yeah.
And she's not the only
No.
mother in the Olympics. I think there are so many mothers who are competing in the Olympics, and I think that she's just a great example of a mother being like, oh, really? Let's
Yeah.
see how that is. So she comes back, wins two straight PWHL championships, and makes the Olympic team. And so like
It's an impressive feat.
yes,
It,
on top of all of that, she skated in the NHL All-Star Skills Competition in 2019 and finished less than a second behind Connor McDavid in the fastest skater event.
yeah.
So she's one fast gal.
She's
Um,
yeah. That's really cool. It's kind of like they had Sabrina Ionescu do the 3-point competition with Steph. Like this was kind of
mhm,
a similar thing. They had her compete in the fastest skater. She's a big deal.
yeah. So, and her husband, Michael Schofield, former NFL offensive lineman, Super Bowl champion, he's in the stands every single game with their son Drew. And so the cute part of all this, before every game, they do this ritual. And so Michael fights through the crowd, gets Drew down to the glass in time for warm-ups, and Kendall skates over. And they do like a little fist bump. And
Yep.
Michael has said that it's the most stressful part of the whole night, getting Drew down to the glass so that they can do this fist bump, like trying to make sure they get there in time.
And it's gone viral. Michael knows the eyeballs on this moment. And I think he's like, I can't mess this up.
Can't mess it up. So then during the 5-0 win over Canada,
Oh my God.
a puck flies into the stands and lands right at Drew's feet. And Michael lifts him up, and the whole crowd goes crazy.
I was
And
watching this live. He held him up with the puck it was like a Simba moment. Like doing the like it was like what I do with Charlie. It was incredible.
so now he has a jersey that says Puck Kid. So yeah, so Kendall and her son Puck Kid and her husband Michael for making it all happen. She's been that girl, and now she's that girl with a toddler at the glass before
Yeah.
puck drop.
I'll say it again. Women's sports are a reality show. Like you have the sport, but then there's so many more storylines that are like endearing and interesting and like happening around it. And I think that's why I love them so much. I feel like do a whole episode on just the US women's hockey team. There's so many incredible stars. These two are like two of the vet names to know, but I think what's really incredible about this team is it's not just like one or two players or like one or two lines that are dominant. Like it is truly every single line going out is putting goals in, making other teams work, one of the men's players, one of the US men's players, I forget who it was, essentially was quoted saying that, like, it's not that their opponents aren't great, it's that the US women's team is playing at such an incredibly elite level that essentially, like, these teams can't keep up. And yeah, it's really awesome to watch. And some fun storylines to go along with it.
Yeah.
On the Canada side, the big name is Marie-Philip Poulin. So on the Team Canada side, you have Marie-Philip Poulin, who is kind of like the equivalent to Hilary Knight on the Canada side. Both are in their fifth Olympics. This is possibly her last. She has not announced retirement from international games. While Hilary is trying to break the US goal record at the Olympics, Marie-Philip just beat the all-time goal record in Olympic hockey history for women. She also has scored the gold medal winning goal, so like the go-ahead goal, in 2010, 2014, and 2022. 3 different Olympics. She's scored in all 4 finals she's ever appeared in. I think this was part of like what makes this rivalry so fun, is they both have these like elite vets who truly are like the face of women's hockey and are still playing at like an extremely elite level. She missed the game in the preliminaries when the US beat Canada 5-0. She will be playing in the match tomorrow. So that's a big, big deal. Like, she's known, there's some athletes that just win and that can score when they need to. And I would say that she is one of the best at doing that. So there's a little bit of extra pro Canada, or like, you know, a little plus for Canada. You also have Natalie Spooner. So she kind of like similar sense to Kendall, Coyne, Schofield, like maybe wasn't supposed to be here, not from becoming a mom, but multiple injuries. So she's 35. This is her 4th Olympics. She was named the inaugural PWHL MVP. She then tore her ACL in the playoffs. She did have a son in December of 2022, came back from that, tore her ACL again, missed almost all of year 2 in the PWHL. When Hockey Canada called her to tell her that she made the roster, it was like a very dramatic, broke down into tears moment. And like all of her teammates cried watching the video. I think most of Canada cried too, probably. Like, it's such an incredible comeback story from injuries. She came in as Canada's 13th forward, so like one of the last on the depth chart. And she played less than 9 minutes in the opener, but she scored Canada's first goal of the tournament. So kind of just one of those truly like moments of joy. Canada has, like the US, so many young players. I think these are just kind of like 2 fun stories to know. The like my big thing watching these games with like the US and Canada is like I very much kind of feel like I'm watching women's hockey in the era of what women's soccer was when I was growing up, watching like Mia Hamm, Abby Wambach, Brandy Chastain, like that generation of elite players bringing this like sport to a global phenomenon and changing how I think all of us like young girls like wanted to play a sport. Like when I watch Hilary Knight, when I watch Kendall, when I watch Marie-Philip, like when I watch some of these younger gals like Taylor Hayes, who's, you know, kind of the up and coming goal scorer, that I very much feel like I'm watching like what they're doing for the sport in the same way that I now recognize what those gals did for soccer. It's really cool.
Yeah.
The matchup is Thursday the 19th. So today, 1:10 p.m. Eastern. Colin sick. Book a meeting with yourself. Do what you got to do. It's going to be worth watching. So figured we would do a little hockey 101 with some of the common terms that you'll hear, especially from the announcers, as you're watching some of these games, because hockey is unique in many ways. And so we figured, yeah, a little terminology cheat sheet would be helpful. So icing is one of the most common like rules and questions that people have about hockey. Icing is when a player shoots the puck from their own half of the ice all the way down past the opponent's goal line without anyone touching it. So the play will stop and the puck comes all the way back to the defensive zone for a face-off. Basically a rule that prevents teams from just launching the puck away to kill time. Though importantly, a team that's shorthanded due to a penalty can ice the puck without it being called, which is one of the reasons penalty kills are hard. A forecheck, this is what caused me to think about terminology, because I feel like the announcers are saying this all the time. A forecheck is essentially just a strategy where teams pressure the opposing defense in their zone before they can get organized. So a lot of times you'll see a defender get the puck from their goalie and they'll kind of pause, a line change happens, they kind of get organized, and then they like make a push to go down. A forecheck is essentially when the other team doesn't allow them to do that and puts pressure on them in that zone. So it's like not sitting back and waiting. They're really hunting the puck. The opposite would be a backcheck, which is essentially like the forwards hustling back to defend. So line changes in hockey are unique. This is when the players are subbing. And as you probably already know, this happens during live play. You don't need stoppage to sub. Players essentially just hop over the boards and swap out on the fly. Teams will try to match lines. So you have offensive lines and defensive lines. So offense is a set of 3, defense is a set of 2. You'll try to match lines. So like getting your best defense line against your opponent's top scorers. So you'll kind of see these groups go out and they're used to playing together. They know how each other work. Each line's usually on the ice for about like 45 seconds. I'd say like 30 seconds to a minute before rotating off. It goes really quick. And there's a lot of strategy around like when and how it happens. So you'll see these like circles and dots in the corners of the ice. And this is essentially just the face-off spots. So in each zone, this is where a face-off happens when there's a stoppage in that area. So inside the center of the circle, that's where essentially it's like a jump ball situation. So the referee drops the puck between 2 opposing players who then fight for possession. This will happen after icing, after goals, calls, penalties, pucks going out of play, like any other stoppage. So it's essentially like you don't have throw-ins like you do in soccer or inbounds in basketball. Like a face-off is the way to like restart play. And that's what those little circles and dots are everywhere. You won't see fighting in the Olympics. That is a big change from NHL rules. This kind of surprises a lot of casual fans that are used to the NHL highlights, but international rules are much stricter. Fighting results in an automatic game misconduct, meaning you're ejected and your team plays shorthanded. And then lastly, you have the penalties. So you have both minor and major penalties. A minor is the most common. It's 2 minutes in the penalty box, things like tripping, hooking, slashing, interference. If the other team scores during those 2 minutes, the player that was penalized comes right back out onto the ice. Then you have a major penalty, which is 5 minutes, and the team stays shorthanded for the full 5 minutes, even if the other team scores. Majors are called for more serious infractions like fighting, boarding, things like that. During any penalty, you're going to hear the term power play. That's essentially the team that has the advantage, so more players on the ice. And then penalty kill is essentially like the team that's defending and trying to shut down for that 2 minutes or 5 minutes. It is also possible for teams from both players to be in a penalty. So you could be playing 4-on-4, you could be playing 4-on-3. Multiple penalties can happen at the same time. And that will make
Players from
watching
both
hockey.
teams. You said teams from both players can
Yeah,
mix up your.
players from player. I can't tell. I give up. What she said. Yeah.
Funny story about penalties. When I played hockey when I was 6 years old, my dad was the coach, and we had too many kids on the ice during a play. And as the coach's kid, I received the penalty, and I didn't understand what it meant. So for the 2 minutes that I was in the penalty box, I cried because
I would have cried.
I took the rules very seriously. My dad always said that I was the best player on the team, and and played my I was the best player. I was the best player on the team because I played my position because I was too afraid to leave my position.
All right. That's all for now. We'll see you next Thursday.
See you next time.